10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. In 1 minute, 4 human beings were sold for sex. How does that happen? Well, you see, there's something that's called the internet, social media, peer-on-peer recruiting. And what that is, that's when boys and girls in their own high schools are recruiting each other to go have sex. And how do I know this? Because you see, I grew up in an upper middle class home on the waterfront, in the suburbs, in Florida. And I was that girl. I was that girl at school that she was the dancer in the marching band. She modeled. She was in beauty pageants. And she did everything that she could do to be what is a normal teenager. However, she had this secret, this very deep, dark secret. Every day of her life, from the time that she was 2 years old, she was a victim of incest, of pornography, and exploitation. It's not just about, here I am, I'm a survivor, I'm going to stand up in front of you, and I'm going to tell you my story of horror and trauma. Because my story is about hope, help, and healing. It's about resiliency, adaptability, and confidence. It's about moving forward. This is something that is happening right here in the United States, in your backyards, where you live and where you work. Imagine getting off the school bus, coming home, walking in the house, and he's there. And he motions and says, go upstairs. And of course, I know what I have to do when I go upstairs. But this day, on this particular day, I say to myself, nope, it's not going to happen anymore. That knife that I had been hiding underneath my mattress, I pull it out and I put it to his back and I say, no more. I will not be your sex slave anymore. And this is what he said, laughing in my face. I had been waiting for this day. And I'm like, waiting for this day? What are you talking about? And he said, because you see, from this day forward, you are going to be a prostitute. I'm like, a prostitute? How can I be a prostitute? And he said, just watch and see what happens. I'm like, but I'm only 15 years old. There's something that's called familial sex trafficking, and that's really what my story is about. So you have 35% of sex trafficking victims, it's by a family member. The average age, 13 years old for little girls and 12 years old for little boys. 70 to 92% of sex trafficking survivors, of victims, they were sexually abused between the ages of 3 and 5 years old. Human trafficking, sex trafficking, it is the largest organized crime that is going on worldwide. It is a $32 billion business. You have 21 million people worldwide that are enslaved, and in the United States alone you have 1.5 million. It is the largest social injustice that we have going on in the world today, and what are we doing about it? A blind eye. And why do you think that is? Because this subject's pretty tough to hear, right? And why am I so at ease about being able to speak and share my story in such a way that I want to move my audience to action, not to trauma? And then I'm sure you're probably wondering, so why am I here? Because I have trained tens of thousands of folks, law enforcement, parole officers, case managers, attorneys, judges, educators, the healthcare professional. And not just on sex trafficking, anything that has to do with sex in any way, okay? So if it's sexual harassment, sex offenders. So again, why? Because don't you want to be a superhero? Because you can each, in this room, make a difference in someone's life. And that's why each and every one of you is a first responder. Because you see, it doesn't have to be that classic definition of what a first responder is. If you've been trained, right, you know the signs, the warning signs, the red flags, who to call, what to do, the questions to ask, and more importantly, the questions not to ask, then you are a first responder. Back in the day, for me, what I needed from you, from each and every one of you that's sitting in this room today, I needed you to see that I was not invisible. Ask me, what is it that I need right now? Not tomorrow, not when you get me help. So what can you do? Provide training to your staff and your clients and your students. Know the red flags. Know the early warning signs. Report suspicions. Whose hero are you going to be? Because in the 10 minutes that I have been talking, 240 human beings have been sold for sex. So thank you so much.